Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous one. And y'all know me, I like to get to the point. Today we have a brother copper warrior who just came from Hawaii, where he mingled around the people of those islands and he found some eerily similarities to us here in America. And I thought was interesting, and I asked him what he shared with the audience. So you know we ain't got time. I'm gonna give it to the brothers to let him share what he's found. What's going on, Copper Warrior?
Oh, hey, the Indigenous one. I thank you for having me on your program. It's a real honor to be here.
Oh, brother, you welcome anytime.
So, what I like to say is that I want to talk about our indigenous relatives in the Pacific Islands, namely Hawaii, namely the Micronesian or whatever what the invaders call Polynesian islands. At any rate, I was in Hawaii the earlier part of the year, in December and up until March. And I actually was working and living there. And I actually came in contact with people from various islands that some of the islands I never even heard of. And I realized the similarities in our phenotypes, that they look like us. And when I interact with them, they treat me like a brother. You know, they treat me like a brother, and it was really an eye opener for me. And I just want to share it with the platform that we do have relatives. The original peoples, not the ones that are what I want to say. The admixtures from various other groups. The original peoples, they look like us and in some ways act like us. They're soul people.
What I when you look at the images of the people from Hawaii and those islands over there,
Hmm.
they can mix in over here in America, like
Yes,
and not miss a beat.
that's right.
So
The actual people, not the admixtures, not the one, because in 1893 you had the United States Corporation. I call it what it really is. They went over there, led by some businessmen, backed by the United States military, that they took over that island. They annexed it to now the United States Corporation. And the last monarch that was there was a sister by name Queen Lokalani, and they held her captive in the palace for like a year of her life, and they took over the island. They took over the commerce, everything.
so what I want to so this is just this is going off kilter a little bit,
Hmm.
but let me ask you a question and just get your because you've been over there. I've been to Hawaii once, but there's a whole bunch of islands over there.
Hmm.
Guam,
Yes.
Marshall Islands. I mean, Sandwich. It's I don't even know how many. Could it be seriously that the Pacific Ocean was once a landmass that
I was.
stretched to those islands? I mean, because I know we talk about Pangea and all that. I don't
Mhm.
mean it in that. I don't mean it in that vein. But it seems. I mean, man, I done seen sisters over there, man, that could be my own sister.
Same here. Same here. Yeah, you're right. There are so many islands over there, and some of them are close to what they call the South Pole. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the federated, they call it the Federated Micronesian Islands, Federated States of Micronesia. Let me stand corrected. You'll find that there is a plethora of islands there. And I would think that at one point it was a single landmass. And looking at it and looking at the maps, it's, to me, it's close to where we are. So it's like the one sister that considers Hawaii as part of, and all the Pacific Islands as part of the Western Hemisphere, which is part of the Americas.
I mean, brother, as you know, we are. Is it a reason that we go the other way? We look to the what they call the West, because what these people are calling the parts of the world, and you and I talked about this a little earlier. An example would be here in America, the Midwest.
Yes.
How was Wisconsin, and what these terms and these places that these people make up that we just fall right into and start doing what they say do in those areas? Do you see a similarity? Like when you say the Marshall Islands.
Yeah, it's all about programming. It's all about programming, and if you don't understand semantics, etymology of words, and how this Germanic or so-called English language is placed upon the indigenous peoples to trick them, change their minds, however you want to phrase it. It's ridiculous. And we fall into this nonsense and forgetting about what is and what isn't.
Right, but I'm saying as people on a planet, this is not just me. This is not just you. This is everybody.
Yes.
We're here for a reason.
Yes.
And to always fall back on this, I just can't win. We slaves, just to always fall back on that, like that's some kind of something we have. That's the only thing we have. When you look around the world, like you going to Hawaii and those islands over there, and you find out so much all over the world. It's like Keith Wainwright is saying the world's largest gold mine is within the territory of the New Guinea, New Papua Islands.
Yeah.
And we see pictures and we see images of Chinese, Asian people going over there, killing these people for their land and resources. And we're over here arguing about stupid shit.
Yeah. This is what I see that's happened. For example, in 1778, this James Cook from England, I call him Captain Crook because that's essentially what happened. He went over there to the Hawaiian Islands, which actually was pronounced Oahu with an O. And he went over there and kidnapped the chieftain or the king, tried to kidnap him twice, and then by 1779, they killed him. And just looking at that, this is what these people do. They go around the world looking for resources. And when they find those resources, they're going to do whatever they can to take it. They're going to do whatever they can to get the people to embrace the artificial construct or artificial aspects of so-called modern life. They'll bring all kind of stuff and little trinkets and to trick the people. And then once they take over, they bring their workers in. And that's those Asians. They'll bring in the Japanese, the Chinese. They'll bring in the Filipinos. They'll bring in the Koreans. And all of a sudden, those places become overran with these people. They own all the businesses, have all the commerce, the best homes, the land. I mean, it's ridiculous, and not to forget to mention disease that these invaders or these colonizers bring. to get rid of the original peoples. And then get up in their DNA also. Then all of a sudden you'll see somebody who's pale, and you're like, this is a European, but they have a Hawaiian name, last name, or another Pacific Islander last name. You're like, how did that happen? Well, and the body types, the body structure, you start seeing, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm look at the women, all of a sudden, I've been to Japan, I've been to Korea, I've been to the Philippines, and I'm seeing these body shapes at that time. To me, they weren't shapely like the sisters here in the Americas. But then you start seeing these shapes on Asian women, it's like, wait a minute, you've gotten up in the DNA of the original peoples that was there.
Yeah, man. I see that. I have a brother that I'm working with.
Mhm.
He's in his 50s and he's one of them sex addicts. Because that's all he knows. And he said, and all he does, if his computer was taken, that's all it would be with is women. He's into that, going to the strip club, blah blah blah. I don't know, what that's called, sex addict or whatever. But the pictures of the women, I just might have him on one day. You can tell the difference of the women in their body types.
Yeah, yeah.
That shit is for real.
Absolutely, absolutely. In my own opinion, is this: we have the most beautiful women here in the Americas and the Pacific Islands. The original people, the original, not the hybrids, the originals.
I second that emotion.
So, if you want to tag somebody else as they women beautiful, this, that, and the other, look, why you think they over here? Why you think they over in them islands? Why you think they gotten up into the DNA of the original peoples? It's something special about us. Period, point blank. And we need to understand that. We need to embrace that.
Brother, why you think we not embracing it? Listen, we talked about this earlier too.
Because
no, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And this ties along to what you're saying. There's an image going around the internet where you got these sisters going to visit these Asian businesses. And the Asian businesses have curtains. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. These sisters are going to get services from a business, and this business got shower curtains separating them from the women. Dude.
That in itself, you have to be programmed and brainwashed and just plain old dumb, because you can do the nails yourself. I know when I was growing up, my mother was a barber beautician for over 30 years. And it seems as though we have something going on and all of a sudden it disappears. And then you got these folks coming in doing the work. And like I stated, this is what these people do. They bring in their workers. There's irrefutable evidence that they brought a lot of these Asians over here all the way up until from the 1500s all the way up to the 1980s in the Americas and the Pacific Islands. It's ridiculous.
And you know what? And I think we look at the Asian population how they tell us to look at it. Because you guys got to remember this. Europe, Africa, and Asia is one landmass.
Definitely, they're connected.
Yeah, brother. So go ahead.
And to me, they're connected not just by landmass, but somehow they're in cahoots with a lot what's going on in the world. Okay, if you look at photos of the original people of Hawaii before 1940, you're going to see a whole different person, a person copper color. That's if you want to call it copper color, brown skin, whatever. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see the phenotypes, the hair texture, like ours, woolly, semi straight, whatever. You're going to see the natural. It's like, where all this come from? So why am I seeing these Asians as masquerading or impostoring or identity theft of the original people? This is what we see. And again, I know they're in cahoots because everywhere you go in the world, don't you have Chinatown? Don't you have Koreatown? Don't you have Japanese setup? There's irrefutable evidence. There's over 1.7 million Japanese in what we call Cuba and Brazil. And Brazil.
What did you say?
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said over 1.7 million Japanese in what we call Brazil and Cuba. Okay, and I understand that in the 1300s there was an Asian invasion that came into what we call Central and South America. In addition to what they call the Siberians that came over here as well. And so these are the people that linked up with the European Spaniards and fought against the indigenous peoples of those places in South America and Central America, and also fought us here in what we call North America. That's why some of our folks got what you would call a Mongol phenotype, or a mixture, a Mongol mixture, because of the invasion. But then over a period of time, these people were set up with businesses, set up with not only commerce and things of that nature. And it's like, wow. You look at a Mexican, for example. Wait a minute. Why they call them Chicanos? Because some of them Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, Korean, you name it. It's crazy. It's like you taking the identity of the original people. It's just like with my hat. I wear this hat. I got a couple of them. I got another one. It's called a buffalo hat, and this is called a gown. But I have this beadwork on there because there's irrefutable evidence that the ancient Mayans were in Georgia, where my people are from. So when I see somebody with a Spanish speaker, they see me with this beadwork on. It's like, oh, where did you get that from? Oh, and I don't tell them. I just look at them and let them talk. And it's like, yeah, I'm the indigenous one, not you. You're an imposter. You're a mestizo.
Yeah, man, we got a phone call. We got a brother calling in from the Choctaw Nation, and he agrees with everything you say. So I'm gonna bring him on and let him rap to you. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay, how you doing? My name is Chief Spirit, the Cherokee and Choctaw Nation here by blood.
All right, brother.
Okay. What you say is 100% correct. But however, I did my little research through the more the years and the months and stuff. What I found out that knowing that the agent with them invading other different countries, they were pretty much raping us, killing us, what they doing today. Back then, it wasn't too much the Caucasian was doing it. They was doing it. Just by and trying to out-thought our research right now. They don't want us to be, girl, he metal skin, he basically look black. I'm going to be like that. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And that's, yeah, you're right. He's right.
And so I'm telling you a story real quick. I went to this ball, right? So my buddy, he Indian. Okay, so come on with the ball with me. I went to the ball. When I went to the ball, I had my cowboy hat on, my feather hat, I got my choker and everything. And I went to the ball, I walked in, here come an Asian dude, looked at me, I look in my eyeball, with the girl. So everybody looking in the room looked at me like, oh shit, this a real Indian. They know who the real Indian is now.
That's
they
right.
know who the girl walked in. They know who it is.
That's right.
So you got to remind yourself where you at, where your place you be at. Them motherfucker want to be in there so bad, but then when they see us, they be like, oh damn. You know, I feel like he look black, but he got the shirt on, got a cap on with the feather. Oh damn! You got right. Basically, realize that what your situation, what you're dealing with. Okay, so my Indian brother looked at me and like, damn. They thought that they thought you were black. I said, no, I took you tell everybody I'm American Indian.
That's right.
You know, I could trace my motherfucking family back then. I got family members look like Hispanic. I got family look like Asian. I got family members like Haiti. Which I do look like a little bit. Haiti and all that. But my dad's side of the family is Creole. Now, we got to remind ourselves, we got some Creole people, indigenous too. You know? So a lot of people are not hip on that. What you mean Creole? Other Creole indigenous people. To this land. You don't know that shit. And they be like, oh damn, I ain't know Creole or indigenous. Yeah. I thought Louisiana. No. And that's how they don't work that way. We are indigenous, we mix. We are the true identity of the Caribbean people or South American people. So we all mix with some type of like you said, prototype or fisher type. We come from the mainland, from a different part of the world. But here again, we kept our culture, we kept our identity. But soon something happened, they want to blame us. You know what I'm saying? Is that how they work?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cool, man. We appreciate your call, man.
All right.
And call anytime.
All right. I appreciate for your time, brother.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, peace. I want to speak to that. You know, what most of us don't realize is that this landmass, this what we call the Western Hemisphere, the Americas and Pacific Islands, we interacted. I mean, there's irrefutable evidence. There's brothers that's from the Shinnecock Nation that's buried over in Hawaii. Why? Because there was expert sailors and whalers. The ancient Hawaiians and the Pacific Islanders also were expert sailors, especially using the stars, navigating using the stars. There's also irrefutable evidence of the ancient Hawaiians being in Virginia. Okay? The Caribbean. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, we were already a mix, what you call a mixture of people before colonization. That's why you had some people that was a dark copper, or what you would call a dark copper color to a light copper color, or a little bit of admixture in their phenotype. Because, you know, if you read what the ancient explorers or the settlers came and the people that they saw, you know, they'll it's right there. You know, I mean, they write everything down. And what's the old saying? You want to hide something from us, put it in the book, or, you know, something like that. Because we won't read, we won't do stuff, you know, do research to find out about what happened prior to our situation today.
Let me ask you a question, because this is the way I'm starting to see it, man. Because, you know, in life, you're born, you're a young person, you get to be a middle-aged person, then you die. That seems to be the cycle here.
Yeah.
Everybody who's on this planet knows that. So you only have a limited time to do what you can do while you're here. It seems that the majority of us, I mean, and I don't want people to think that I think this is somebody did something to us or whatever. I think it's like we were talking earlier. I think ants, you never see ants walk backwards. Never, ever. Why is Negroes always backwards, confused? I don't know, huh? I'm gonna tell y'all something. And the one of you, because one of you gonna hear what I'm saying. You are put on this motherfucker to be somebody's bitch. All of us. The elder Needy Fuller says we're born in prison, and he's absolutely right. But this always being stupid, not knowing shit, pushing false ideologies, that shit is over, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
You can play
ridiculous.
that dumb shit. Don't be talking about me. Yeah, yeah. If you're dumb, you a dumbass.
Hmm.
Stop being stupid.
That's
You
right.
have you can go learn just like anybody else. The poorest non person on this planet can learn and be better. And when you see the situations that going on in the world, you know that's your job.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know you got to be better because that's what you here for. Pretending that you now. I know a lot of y'all have been used, but you don't like being used. Do something else. Somebody is always gonna walk with you. While you on this
Hmm.
planet, there's always going to be a few people that walk with you, that see what you're saying.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
gotta stop playing this. I'm just a dumb nigga. I don't know what to do, boss. I don't know. We gotta stop that. Cause
Absolutely.
listen, that's that has gotten us where we are today.
Hmm. Hmm. And just like the one sister from the Accomac, I remember she said we need to start talking to people, start talking, various people. And I can remember when I got to the island of Hawaii, I had my vehicle shipped over there. So I went to go to the shipping port. I picked up my vehicle and I was coming out, and the security person was a female. And she's like, telling me she's tired of the pale face folks and she want to beat them like a piata. I'm like, hey, look, leave those people alone. I mean, the only thing we can do is be who we are and have a strong sense of self. And she was like, well, I'm glad to met you. You're a handsome black guy. And I had to tell her, look, I'm not the color of my cell phone. So I put my cell phone up and I showed her. I said, I'm not that color. I said, that's a misnomer. I said, I am, in her language, I'm an Aboriginal from America, from the mainland, as you want to call it. You are? I said, yeah, absolutely. I said, so, I mean, that's just it. I said, I'm not paying no attention to these folks. I need to do what I need to do for me and forget about them. They here to get whatever they can get from us and use us and whatever else. I said, but you getting all upset and want to beat them, and you're going to cause more problems for yourself. But all she could say was like, well, thank you. That well, at least I saw a handsome man today. And I'm like, okay, well, nice to meet you too, and I left.
Well,
But I
look,
had to,
man.
I had to use that as a teaching moment.
Right.
So I told her, I said, I'm brown just like you, if you want to put it that way. And that's just it.
Well, you know what? At this point now, man, I want to look at some of the pictures
Okay.
that you sent, some of the pictures that you took over there, and just some of the images of the people from that part of the world. Is that
Okay.
cool?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm gonna put
Absolutely.
it. Let me hook it up
Okay.
and get it started. All right. Here we go. Here go
All
one.
right.
Here we
Okay.
go. What do we see here?
Mm-hmm.
Could
Yeah.
you
You see,
explain that?
you see the original Pacific Islanders. Those are Hawaiians. That's what the people looked like before 1940. I want to think that picture is from 1890, but yeah, anytime you look at these folks before 1940, you will see a whole different phenotype than what you see after 1940. Because that's when you see the heavy admixture. That's when you start seeing the Asians that's claiming to be those people, just like they do here in America. They claim to be us, and we don't claim to be ourselves. Now, even on the census, this census, I claim to be who my people are. That's what I put on the census. But a lot of us, we still think we from the Eastern Hemisphere, what they call Africa. and dumb enough to use the DNA test to confirm the stupidity.
Well, look, man, one of the things I always get is no, you have to be you have to be more accommodating to the stupid people. You have
Mm,
to be. You can't call them stupid and dumb. That's just making them feel bad. And I'm like, ma'am, listen. We are being, and I know you've seen it over there. We are
mm-hmm,
being eliminated from this planet.
mm-hmm,
We're
mm-hmm.
being eliminated so much that we're helping them eliminate us. So when you
Yep,
talk about the Japanese and the Asians, they've been doing it for 500 years. These Shine's been doing it over here, what, since the Buffalo Soldiers?
yep, yep.
And see, we like to look at it like we don't see it, huh? We always caught in this dumbass malaise. We never know shit, but we know what kind of liquor's coming out. We know the
Okay.
football score. We know what kind of wig is coming over. We always know dumb shit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let me segue into that. Uh, where I worked at, this guy, okay, he's a native Hawaiian. Okay, but you can see the admixture and nothing, nothing against him. But he and I used to talk on it for real. It's just like you. That's like you and I talk. And one of the things that he said his father told him was this. He said, when the colonizers came, they brought the alcohol. Well, first they bring the religion, they bring the alcohol. Then next thing you know, they got a job program for you. And it's cognitive dissonance that we experience. That oh, I don't believe this. I don't believe that. Yeah, you don't even understand what the term belief means. Belief means that you accept something as truth with no evidence of the truth. So in other words, you just embrace whatever artificial construct that comes your way, you know? And that's just it. I mean, when I was over there, I seen all this homelessness. I seen all these people struggling. I can go on, and what's funny about this West Side thing, I'm on the west side of the island, and a friend of mine is showing me, say, that's a homestead over there. If you're a Hawaiian, you can live over there. You can't live over there if you're not Hawaiian. I'm like, really? So how in the hell are you gonna take somebody, control somebody, and tell them where they can live and where they can't? It's ridiculous. And I do a lot of walking there. I walk through the neighborhoods, and I would see signs up for political people who's running for local political office, like councilmen that we have here where I'm at in Cleveland, and they got Spanish names and this and that. I'm like, wait a minute, these are not Hawaiians running for political office in these neighborhoods. I'm like, this is crazy. Or an Asian person,
Yeah, Copper
and it's
Warrior.
like, wow. I'm
Copper,
sorry.
Copper Warrior. We got another phone call from a brother from
Okay.
the 40 area code. What's your comment, brother?
Yeah, bro, you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, let's see everyone. It's Windwalker. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to talk with everyone here. But like I was saying, well, it's good that you cover the topic with our relatives from the Pacific Islands.
Mm-hmm.
They are our relatives. And when I was in the military, the brothers that sisters that I met from out there, Samoans, a lot of Samoan brothers, they looked at us as their brothers.
That's
Okay.
right.
And there's The Rock, his father, Rocky Johnson, his wife is Samoan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Chief, High Chief Peter Maivia, Samoan.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, those are our relatives, okay? And the indigenous ones, they're still there, okay? That's why the Fijians, the brothers from Fiji, they slammed the British in the Olympics in rugby of all sports, okay?
Mm-hmm.
For the gold medal, okay? So, I mean, they definitely are our relatives. They're definitely our relatives. And the thing about it, we were created this way. We're the most dominant, creative, talented, magnificent of all the other peoples of Mother towards terror. We were created this way to maintain balance and order, and we've slipped. Not all of us, because some of us are rising back up to reclaim our throne. Okay, we're in the Game of Thrones, and we'll stop us. We are reclaiming our throne, and they don't like that, but it's too bad, because they also know that we are the golden fleece. Because if anything happens to too many of us, everything's gonna flatline. The Americas are the center of the earth. The Pacific to the west and the Atlantic to the east. Strategically, it's the most dominant place in the world. Okay, and all the resources are here. Everything has always been here.
Yep.
Everything. Well, I definitely like your show, brother. Definitely. And when I like I said, we have different phenotypes, and wherever we go throughout the world, they recognize who we are.
When Walker, brother, call back.
Okay. We gotta. Yeah, but
we
you brought up the census. Okay, I did the census and identified Native American Indian, and then way down the bottom, it's gonna say some other race. I put Indigenous American, Aborigine.
All right.
So there's no question whatsoever.
That's right.
Cool, brother. Well, thank you for sharing with us, man, and call back anytime.
Oh, definitely. I'll catch up with you, bro.
All right, brother.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I just want to segue into what he said. I can remember going to the VA hospital there for an appointment in Hawaii, in Honolulu. And when I got there was a brother from Samoa that was a greeter. He and I started talking, man, like we were relatives. I mean, long lost relatives. Me and him connected so good, it was crazy. I showed him pictures of my grandkids and stuff, and he was like, man, they look local. Are they Samoan? I said, bro, we from the Americas, but you know what, brother, we still brothers, you know? And we was just rapping, man. And, you know, even when I served in the Marine Corps, those guys from the Pacific Islands, man, they were some cool brothers, man. They were cool brothers. And just like I said, all those people I would come in contact with that looked like us, I mean, they were we just connected. You know, it was just awesome. And the brother that was just on the phone, I would suggest also you listen to some of the music from Samoa and the different Pacific Islanders, because they can rap. I mean, they don't rap that junk that some of these young cats here do, but I mean, they talk about family, they talk about friends, you know, they talk about, you know, living life, you know, in a positive way. And my grandkids are always asking me, Granddad, can we hear Samoa? And I play it on my YouTube channel on my TV and turn on my sound system, and we get it in. You know, as well as if I watch old Soul Train stuff, you know, because again, we're soul people. And you come to find that the Pacific Islanders can rock the same music that we rock just as good. You know, because we're the same people, man. We connect. We connected.
When you say connection, I just want to give a little tidbit on this is how I connected. You know, since you're talking about music, we'll stay on that subject.
Okay.
Now, music, everybody knows that in music in America, brothers and sisters pimp it.
Oh, man. They
get down with it. One of the group, this is the group we're going to focus on today. So every time we have a program, we're going to focus on an American Indian group that was the shit. That when you guys listen to their music, it will change your life. All you have to do is listen to the music. Sit down and listen to the music. Today's group, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I know many of y'all haven't heard of y'all into the City Girls and all that stuff. But Earth, Wind, and Fire, one of the things that you have to notice about Earth, Wind, and Fire is the different instruments they used, how they used those instruments to weave a particular sound.
Yeah.
We're going to do a program on them later. But music has different layers and different sounds to it. So it can be that you never hear the bass, but it's playing right in front of your face. And that's what us connecting with other people are like. We're like layers. We can't look at it all the time in the physical because all the time it's not in the physical. Remember, when you were making your first, second, third, fourth, 10th, 15th child, the person you were with, the only thing that you guys were focused on was on each other. You didn't care what movie was out. You were focused on each other. Pay attention to that, because that kid that you just made had something to do with that, and they wasn't even in the physical.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm here, and here's something I want to put out real quick, because this is a lot of stuff we get twisted up on, and it keeps us dumb going forward. This brother Joseph Cooper, and I'm not saying this about him, but I'm saying he was saying his great-great-grandfather was a Buffalo soldier.
I see.
Okay, so we must ask, who were the Buffalo soldiers and what was their jobs? Remember, we didn't have guns. You had weapons that a gun that would you have to shoot. It shot once. You have to take it, pack it with some gunpowder, put some bullets in it, pack it down, and then shoot it. By the time you did that, the brothers over here was on your ass.
Okay.
So where did those brothers get those weapons from, and who were they? This is the things we have to ask. And it's too few of us that is on this work, because a lot of us we on some other. I don't know what we on.
I don't know.
So this brother is saying, hold on, let me just finish this 1 minute. This brother said his great-grandfather was a Buffalo soldier. Who were the Buffalo soldiers? That's what you got to start asking. Neely Fuller says, question everything. Who were the Buffalo soldiers? The Buffalo soldiers were the brothers who went to the Midwest to fuck up the Midwest. But we look at them like they're something great. Joseph Cooper, not saying that you're saying that. I'm not tripping. I'm just saying what is. Who were the Buffalo soldiers? They were you going to help kill your other brothers somewhere else. That's all soldiers do, what the high command tells them to do. How come we don't know? Why is it taking us for so long to know this? And why do we worship the people who did this? This is one of the reasons we always get our asses kicked. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, because as a veteran, I come to realize a whole lot of things. The highest decorated Marine ever was Chesty. They call him Chesty Puller. And even Chesty Puller said when he was in South and Central America fighting against the indigenous peoples, he said that we fighting for the fruit companies. Yeah, that's right. Dole and all them different companies like that. What's those? Who else make banana? Who else produce bananas? I can't think of the name of the company.
Chiquita Banana, and I'm here to say.
Yeah, Chiquita. Yeah, all them people. So you fighting for them. You fighting for the businessmen, just like the ones that took over Hawaii. It was Dole and all these different ones. I think McKinley was the president here at the time. So when you think about these European-controlled wars, it's about them, protecting them and their money. That's basically what it comes down to. And if it can get you to embrace their ideology and work for them, that's what happens. And it's just crazy. And then, you got to think about these things like the Transformers, okay? The Decepticons, the ones that come to bring their world to yours. And you think about how these weapons that these soldiers had, because by the time they came up with the repeating rifle, that was like in 1877. Okay, and that's when they were at their peak, the Buffalo soldiers. And even with the weapons themselves, when the colonizers came, you're like, how did they mass produce all these muskets and these cannons and all this stuff using minerals from the earth? If you ain't never been to a steel mill, I've been to them. They use organic minerals from the earth to produce this so-called steel and these metals. So they learn how to forge metals using the minerals of the earth to mass produce these weapons. And even gunpowder is a mineral, a combination. And so it's like, wow, this body armor, all the stuff they came over here with and in different places. It's like, but they'll say, oh, the Chinese came up with fireworks and blah, blah, blah. Like I said, they're all in cahoots. They're all working together. They come up with this, with that North Korea, and to me, it's a joke. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's doing this, he's doing that. Yeah, right. He's doing his job in order to keep this fear mongering going on, or to keep the reason to make all these weapons of mass destruction. Even a gun is a weapon of mass destruction because it can kill somebody instantly. You don't have to have bombs and everything, but they got all that. They have all that.
So do you think part of the reason, this is my position here. When I came here to this planet, my people were getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
And I realize as energy, we look at ourselves as things, because that's why we call ourselves black all the time. We look at ourselves as things. What do you think it'll take? And I know you got some wisdom from some of them brothers over there, because these are people who used to be with the planet, who used to be with the earth. Now their culture has been altered greatly. What are some of the stories they told you about what's going on over there and how they could fix this?
The only thing that I realized that is a quick fix, and we have the power to do, is stop supporting all this bullshit. Stop supporting all these people that created all these businesses and whatever else for themselves and not for you. When I was growing up, I can remember the gentleman hired me. He was from Alabama originally, his family, but he hired me to work in the store at 11 years old. We was able to hire our own people. We was able to provide for our own folks until the 1970s, till the early 80s. Then that all changed. But we got to create industries for ourselves and quit supporting all this stupid stuff, because why? That money, that commerce is their God. Once you shut that down, then they're like, oh, we can't sell to them. No. Because just like I told you earlier, when I go buy my gas, I go to the only guy in the state of Ohio that owns a gas station that look like me. And it's several miles away from my house, but I'll go to his gas station before I go to anybody else. And that's what we need to do. Any corner stores, I go to the store that somebody own it look like me. Yeah. This stupid stuff we're doing, walking around here asleep, and this cognitive dissonance is just crazy. But again, but over there in Hawaii, a lot of them have been talking about an indigenous uprise. A lot of them are demanding sovereignty and freedom and stuff like that in terms of their lands. It's still an argument about that.
But do you think it should be a consensus thing, like everybody? Because listen, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to, have a down. I want everybody on this planet to be able to enjoy and think and create anything they want to create. That's what I'm with. I don't care who you are, long as you don't fuck over nobody else, and long as you help everybody that needs help.
Yeah.
Damn. Instead of trying to take everything for yourself and dogging other people with it, shouldn't we all know by now that that's not the way to go?
No, that's not life. That's not life. We're not living. Most of us are just surviving. When I was over in Hawaii, what I saw and what bothered me the most is that people weren't living. They were just surviving. I mean, the homelessness that I saw, I saw camps on beaches. Beautiful beaches, people living in tents or, living on the beach, stuff like that. The place that I worked, I remember this one guy, this veteran came in there. Somebody took all his stuff from off the beach, even stole his dog. Guy was struggling. He had no other resources. So he came to to the organization I was working for, which is, helping people in those kind of situations. And you have the highest use of welfare benefits, all of that. You have people coming over there. You have states actually sending people with a one-way ticket to Hawaii, telling them, okay, you homeless, but we're going to send you over here because they got a good welfare system. You got people laying on the concrete sleeping. On the streets, like you walk in the streets of any major city, you're seeing people got a little setup on a street corner and all this other kind of crazy stuff. I see you posted up another picture. That's that sister who was the last monarch of Hawaii before the overthrow when she was a teenager. Now, don't she look like anybody you see here in Ohio, Alabama, Georgia, California, anywhere?
Dude,
Mississippi, you know what I'm saying? Look at that hair.
She look like my kids.
Okay.
And see, this is why I'm saying, dude, being dumb, I know we embrace it, we feel, but do you really think, and this is the question I wanted to ask you. So what's going on? I've been getting a whole bunch of feedback from a whole bunch of nurses who are working everywhere and who are taking them $10,000 a week job. And remember, I want my $9,000 cut. No, I'm kidding. What these sisters are saying, what's happening, they said all they're doing is killing black folks.
Yeah. Because,
go ahead.
You think about the history of this stuff. You think about the diseases that they brought. If you look at Hawaii as an example, and Pacific Islands, Captain Cook and his crooks were bringing syphilis and smallpox and measles and other stuff. Same thing that happened in the Americas, diseases and stuff like that. And I remember the one segment with A New Thunder was talking about how these folks having sex with animals and stuff like that. And I remember as a child growing up, and I would be puzzled by how the other set of people treat these dogs and stuff. Oh, I want to comment on this picture. Now, haven't you seen them brothers in Mississippi or Alabama or North Carolina, Louisiana, Texas? You see them brothers? Those are the actual depictions of the real Hawaiians going into battle. They use skilled weapons, not Smith & Wessons, like we did here. Before all them guns and everything showed up, we was whooping ass with using skilled weapons. But you've seen brothers look like that around here in the States, the so-called States.
That's a kick-ass picture right there.
Okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's the real depiction of the actual people that was there. But see, the dummy down comes in when you watch TV like Hawaii Five-0 or some kind of movie showing us these people, these are Asians that they're showing you, saying that they're the Hawaiians and stuff. It's the nonsense. But when you delve into the actual people, you start seeing the naturals, you start seeing the same skin tone, the body structure, similar to the same as yours. You realize, wait a minute, these are the real people? Yeah.
Hey man, listen, let's go to some of the people whose listeners, they're putting up questions and their ideologies and what they believe and what they were taught about us. And let's answer some of these questions, because I think this is one of the reasons why we are always stuck arguing back and forth. And normally one of the persons is arguing something that somebody told them. because they're not connected to their people. They're not rooted into their people. There's no connection nowhere. Yet they try to tell you what somebody else told them is reality. So let's answer some of these questions real quick, because and normally it's from brothers, and it really pisses me off when brothers are dumb. Seriously, because we're the most dogged out people on the planet. Seriously. Just look at the 2 million brothers in jail in America. And if I were you guys, I wouldn't look at it as 2 million men in prison. I would look at it as 4 million hands, because that's what you're going to need to build yourself back up. You're going to need hands. And us just always coming with some dumb shit that don't mean nothing kills us.
All the time.
All the time. And we think, don't talk about them like that. They wasn't there. They were. Just like you have, like me, when I went to the military, I was a soldier for them, not what I'm doing now.
That's right.
And we have to understand that. You can't just want to get some money. And I hope this coronavirus have taught you that Negroes don't run nothing. When they master tell them to sit their ass down, they sit down. This is why you need your own creative communities. This is why you need your own currency. This is why you need to start doing shit for yourself and stop always being on somebody else's nuts trying to get what they want, and they give you a smidgen of what they get.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This dude, now check this out. Now, this is a brother, and this is what I mean. This is where me and the average brother gets it. I'm not saying all brothers, because a brother like I can talk to you for hours. But this is a cat I've been seeing on social media. So this cat Blind Mike says, this is a painting. This isn't a picture at all. So you would think, okay, so I look at it like this, y'all. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they were both killed at 39 years old. They were still learning. So for me, my cutoff, if by the time you're 39 and you still a dumb fuck, then you get treated like one. That's just how I do it. I know all of y'all don't do it like that. You love it. We are the world. I realize that. But this brother says this is a painting. This isn't a picture at all. Could it be that they didn't have cameras then? They didn't know. They you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And brothers, and with brothers, we never connect dots.
Okay.
We always stuck on that dumb shit.
See?
And women, and no. And this dude, Blind Mice, he'll find some female that thinks he's smart and he's intelligent, and she'll procreate with this cat, and they will produce more dumb motherfuckers to go along to keep us in the position that we in.
Okay. Now, anybody with any kind of intelligence at all can see that, yes, it is a painting, not a picture. So what? That's what they did pre-camera and pre-video.
So that's what. Okay, let me stop you there, brother. Let me stop you there. Why? How come we can't connect these dots?
I tell you why. Because we're emotionally confused and intellectually unbalanced, meaning that we don't have common sense. A lot of us that you run into today, they don't have common sense. And what I tell people is like, you know what? A lot of us have had our DNA and everything messed with. It's not something that I just came out, off the wall with. It's something, talking out the side of my neck. It's something that I did research on. And this is what you get now. You get people looking like, are you killing me? Are you kidding me with this dumb stuff? because they're intellectually unbalanced and emotionally confused. So this cognitive dissonance is like a disease. If the truth doesn't connect with their belief, they're gonna have questions like or statements like that. That's what they're gonna do.
Brother, listen, I'm sick and tired of every time I get up, I see us stumbling down the street. We never know nothing. I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, and the world is going forward, and I'm noticing that the world is going forward. Is going forward without us.
Right. Absolutely. And you know what thing that really pisses me off is that a lot of us think we need these other people. They need us. We're the ones that keep their stuff going. We don't need them and never did, but we think we do. They need us and our resources, and we the natural resource to a whole lot of this stuff. The Pacific Islanders, the Caribbean, what we call Central South America, what we call North America. I mean, they need us. That's why, and a lot of your previous broadcasts talks about how all these people coming over here. You should see all these foreigners in Hawaii and the Pacific Islands. You should see them all over here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Man, I listen, and I want the listeners to know this. I don't have nothing against us. I want all of our children to be intelligent.
Yeah.
I mean, babies come here smarter than all of us, but we get them and dumb them down with all the dumb shit that we do.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here for. And what this brother had just explained to you with Hawaii, all those islands over there, and when you look at islands, they're just the highest tip of places that have sunk on the planet. The Caribbean teaches that we gotta know this. This is why it's important that you have your own schools.
Exactly.
This is why it's important that you teach your own children. They teach your dumb ass that it's 7 continents, and when you ask, well, North America and South America are connected. Shut up, nigga. It's just 7 continents.
I hate that.
This is how we're taught.
Man, I hate that.
We go with the dumb shit all the time. So listen, and here's an example. Here's a perfect example. Because I don't want you guys to say, oh, this brother just be read. He don't know what he's talking about. No, it's not that. Here's an example that we all can understand. Right now, you're going through something called y'all going through something called a coronavirus. Really, y'all? But with the coronavirus, these motherfuckers telling you can't come outside.
You can't even cross the borders and these so-called imaginary borders they created to go to another state. It's crazy. It's crazy. And if you see any information on Hawaii is like, and especially the island of Oahu, which is Honolulu and Pearl Harbor and all that. That's one of the busiest places I ever been in my life, 24/7. It's shut down like a ghost town. When I talk to my friend over there, I talk to my son that's there. It's like it's a ghost town. I mean, it's overpopulated. And you talking about the traffic, you talking about all that, the usual stuff, the beaches, all that stuff is closed down. I mean, you can actually drive and get to where you want to go without, being terrorized by other drivers now. But the thing of it is that this stupid stuff has got people in a situation like never ever seen before in our lifetime. It's crazy. But people don't watch these patterns of, when you and I was growing up, you remember the swine flu. And I remember watching the news and all that stupid stuff. And I remember telling my mother, I said, Mama, we need to go get a vaccine. She's like, no, we're not, baby. No. And I just took it for what she said. I just left it alone. But then as I got older, I realized what she was saying. You know, we're not gonna fall for that nonsense. You know, just like my brother, for example, when he was in the Marines during the Vietnam era, and around the time in the 70s, tried to make him take that vaccine, and he wouldn't take it. Him and the other brothers was like, no, we ain't taking this vaccine. Then they tried to keep his money, and then when he submitted and called himself going to take the vaccine, they was out of it. So they had to give him his money anyway. See how crazy this stuff is? Remember the Zika virus? They always come with bird flu. I mean, every 10 years, they got something. Ebola, you know, they make this stuff in the labs. They create this stuff in labs. I remember in the 80s, I was a pre-med major in college doing my undergrad. And the American Medical Association book, 1989, has the coronavirus listed as a common cold. So now how has a common cold all of a sudden become this murdering, killing thing? Unless you add something to it, or you play with the numbers, or somebody died of something else, you call it corona. Somebody's sick with something else, you call it corona. I mean, that's just the nonsense, but people don't, they don't think about that. It's like, come on, this is supposed to be a common cold. Why is it doing all this? You falling for it. Again, people don't think. They don't think that this stuff is brought to you. This is not a natural thing that occurs here in the Americas, nor in those Pacific Islands or the Caribbean, or any of those places. These people bringing this stuff to you. You know, and even when I was in Hawaii, I can remember seeing all these cats bigger than any stray cats I've seen in Ohio. It's like, and these people, these foreigners are feeding these animals that's out on the streets, putting piles of food on the sidewalks and curbs, putting food out there, feeding these things. So, and I guarantee you, some of them things end up in them restaurants there.
Dude, how is it that we don't? I mean, come on, man. I mean, look, man. How do we have foodstuffs that run all over America, and when you tell a person, yo, man, have you ever had some rabbit? Ugh. But you will eat the dog that they serve you in these Chinese. This is what I'm saying. This is where we are.
Yeah. We dumb like that. I can remember being in Korea, and I went to, and I know you know this, Shakey's Pizza.
Shakey's? Are they still around?
Well, it's a California chain, right? But they had it over there. Everything that they had in California was over there in Japan and Korea and the Philippines. You'll find, Shakey's Pizza there. So I call myself going to Shakey's Pizza. I ate that pizza. Ate a slice, bought a couple of slices, ate that. It had this strange aftertaste to it. And I'm like, I must have eaten dog. I'll be damned. This was like over 30 years ago. But I'm just saying, are you kidding me? I'm like, I must have eaten dog or cat or something other than beef or pork. I'm like, oh man, this stuff with this food thing is ridiculous, especially those people in the Pacific Islands where they're overweight. And I encourage the listeners, the viewers, to check out a video called Obesity in Paradise and see why these people are suffering with obesity, diabetes, hypertension, all these things that we suffer with greatly here. Because why? They eating they depending on this refined foods, fatty meats, okay? This rice and this wheat flour, this sugar, it's killing them. You know, I mean, these sweet drinks, this Coca-Cola and all this other crap. And you look at the body structures and stuff. I think I sent you the other pictures. This obesity is ridiculous.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That. Listen, this is gonna be the last question before we go.
Okay.
But that obesity thing.
Oh.
Dude. So when you see sisters, you know, in the minute,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in history pictures and in images when they first seen sisters and sisters back in the 1800s and the 1900s, they were some, I mean, oh my God. And now, and this is not all sisters, because many sisters are still this way. Bang! Bang! I'm not diminishing, because I know a lot of times we look at stuff as this or that. A lot of times it isn't that. You have different structures of brothers that they go from the dumbest to the most intelligent ones. You have some who so scared and I don't know what NASA gonna do, to those brothers who be like, I don't give a shit, let's do this. We can't really. We are an embarrassment to our fucking ancestors the way we are acting now, right or wrong.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, what I come to find is that I'm a big threat to people because I act like my ancestors would want me to act. I carry myself, and it's not something that, you know, I just do it like on the weekends or you know, for just for no. I'm indigenous to this land. This is my land. You can get the off of it, you know. Go back to them caves or whatever you used to be in, because this is our home that you're ruining. And this is what people don't realize. They're like, all these foreigners and stuff, their place is jacked up, or they're in cahoots with the ones who's doing all the dirty work, and they come here living their best lives. You know, because when I was in Hawaii, you see all these people with these high-end automobiles, the best homes and everything, and all of that. It's like, wait a minute, you're not the original people. The original people here, or any evidence of them left, or somebody or admixture, they suffer. But you living real good. Got all the businesses, all the industries and everything, and all of that going on. It's like, wow. You know, I mean, houses like the house that I live in. If I was in Hawaii, that house would cost over $1 million. My house is over there, and I'm talking about 7 bedrooms, 2 baths. You feel me?
Yo, brother, listen, we're gonna have to end it right here.
Okay.
But you have opened up a whole. Can we do part 2 this time next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're gonna do part 2 this time next week, and let's start an hour earlier, because there's some other things I want to get into you with it about that we didn't even get into.
Right.
So, you know, I don't want to eat up everybody's time, because I know everybody got things to do. So I want to thank you for coming on here, brother, and share us with something that we can think about until next week.
Okay. Well, what I want to end it with is this: we need to look at the illnesses, the sicknesses, and how it compares with us and the people in the Pacific Islands. They suffering the same thing. Why is that? Because, like you stated, like the sisters and the people back in the day, they didn't have all this obesity and stuff like that. Remember in the 70s, even if you watch an old Soul Train video, you didn't see nobody really fat or thick, as they like to say it. You know, they were in shape. They were shapely, especially the women, but they were in shape. You know, so I want to talk about the health issues also the next time, and the foods that we've been eating and depending on, and a lot of stuff that's imported to us, which is making us, which is killing us and making us sick. And I want to also talk about the animals that we eat that's not indigenous to the Americas nor the Pacific Islands. No, no.
Well, brother, have that on the top of your list, because that's what we're going to come back with next week.
All right.
Listen, I want to thank everybody for listening to us. Listen, we're just trying to share information to keep indigenous people vital on this planet. Right. I know a lot of you guys are in these ideologies and these other bullshit thoughts that get you mad at us because of what we say. So what?
That's right.
People of America, the indigenous people of America are being wiped off this planet. And I'm going to use everything I have and everything I know to make sure that don't happen. I know it's going to piss a lot of you off, a lot of you mad. I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. We're going to see you next time, but we're going to see you next Tuesday with this brother right here to finish off these foods and these meats that we're eating, how they're turning us into what we are. Cool. You guys have a good night. Peace.
Peace.